Tom had been in love with his childhood friend, Mary, for as long as he could remember. They had grown up together, gone to school together, and spent countless hours exploring their small town together. Tom had always thought that Mary felt the same way about him, but he could never quite bring himself to tell her how he felt. Years went by, and Tom and Mary drifted apart. They went to different colleges, pursued different careers, and eventually settled down in different cities. Tom never forgot about Mary, though. He thought about her every day, and he dreamed about what might have been. One day, Tom heard that Mary was coming to town for a wedding. He couldn't believe his luck. He knew that this was his chance to finally tell her how he felt, to finally let her know that he had always loved her. The day of the wedding arrived, and Tom saw Mary for the first time in years. She looked beautiful, just as he had always remembered her. He worked up the courage to approach her, but before he could say a word, she introduced him to her fiancé, a successful businessman named Mark. Tom felt like he had been punched in the gut. He had never even heard of Mark before, but he could tell from the way that Mary looked at him that she was deeply in love. Tom spent the rest of the wedding in a daze. He watched as Mary and Mark danced together, and he realized that he had lost her forever. He had never even had a chance. As the night wore on, Tom found himself drinking too much and making a fool of himself on the dance floor. He knew that he should leave, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. He wanted to be close to Mary, even if it was only for a few more minutes. Finally, the wedding ended, and Tom stumbled out into the night. He felt lost and alone, as if the whole world had conspired against him. He walked aimlessly through the dark streets, his mind consumed by thoughts of Mary and the life that they could have had together. Just when he thought that things couldn't get any worse, it started to rain. The cold drops soaked through his shirt and ran down his face. He shivered uncontrollably, but he didn't care. He was too lost in his own misery. But then something strange happened. As he walked, he began to notice the beauty of the world around him. The rain had turned the city into a glistening wonderland, and the lights of the buildings shone like stars in the night sky. Tom stopped and looked up at the rain-soaked world around him. And for the first time in a long time, he felt a spark of hope. He realized that he didn't need Mary to be happy, that there was more to life than just one person. Tom began to walk with a newfound purpose. He didn't know where he was going, but he knew that he was going somewhere. And as he walked, he felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He realized that he was free from the chains of unrequited love, and that he was finally able to appreciate the beauty of the world around him. Eventually, Tom found himself in a small park on the outskirts of the city. The rain had stopped, and the stars were shining brightly overhead. He sat down on a bench and looked out at the world around him. And then he saw her. A woman was walking towards him, her hair shining in the moonlight. She sat down next to him on the bench, and they started to talk.